These are TikToks that will make you rethink your whole reality. Halloween special.
These are actors that were never the same after a role, part 2. Up first is Sarah Paulson, and she got addicted to smoking cigarettes after filming American Crime Story, The People vs. O.J. Simpson. She was never a chain smoker in real life, but when it came to playing the role as famous attorney Marcia Clark, Paulson went all in. She began chain smoking on set and even said herself she became addicted to cigarettes.
Hello everyone, it is Fittie here. And I'm done with that accent. The accent was absolutely terrible, but I'm back. It's your boy Fittie, and today we're taking a look at these Halloween special TikToks, man. Bro, let me tell you, I had the best weekend of my life this weekend. Halloween, amazing. I'm gonna show you guys pictures towards the end of the video because I know you guys want to see the video, so we'll jump right into that. Remember that these glasses and chains I'm not wearing right now are free for a limited time only, so remember to check those out. Link in the description.
This is the story of a human experiment gone extremely wrong. Disclaimer, this video is for entertainment purposes only. The story goes like back in the day during World War II, the US military wanted to make their soldiers stronger, and they wanted to do this by creating a substance in a lab to give to their soldiers to make them stronger. Rumor has it that the scientist that was concocting all of this was named Abigail Weston, and he wanted to test the product out on his daughter, Abigail Weston. The testing was taking place at Area 51, and soon enough they began injecting Abigail with all types of concoctions. The concoction was supposed to give her superhuman strength, but instead it did something that nobody saw coming. First, Abigail's fingernails began growing into sharp, long claws. Then her teeth began getting sharper and longer. After this, Abigail began growing, and she was growing very tall. Abigail grew to almost 9 feet tall. Part 2 is on my page. The Abigail Project Part 2. It's rumored that Abigail grew to between 10 and 14 feet tall. Obviously, the US government realized that the concoction they had given Abigail did not have an outcome like they had been hoping for. It was supposed to make her stronger, but instead it turned her into a monster. The government had decided to keep Abigail locked in a cell at Area 51. At this point, Abigail looked nothing like her old self. She now looked like this. And everything took a turn for the worst when one of the guards went to go check on Abigail. She ended up mauling and eating him. After this incident, they decided to try to starve Abigail so that she wouldn't be alive anymore. Only Abigail was overpowered by her hunger. Turns out the concoction they had given her at Area 51 had turned her immortal. And even though the US government tried everything they could to get rid of Abigail, it's said that she's now kept in a secluded wing at Area 51. And if you get close to the Area 51 premises, you can hear Abigail's cries in the distance, trotting around her secluded wing, crying out to be fed.
Why test it on your own daughter though? That never ever will make sense to me. It's like you could test it on rats, on some mouse. Bro tested it on his own daughter. That was a little bit stupid.
Zombie sheep.
It actually reminded me of the ant death circle. I don't know if you guys ever knew about that. When ants are lost, they always pick where the group is going and they'll follow them, and some of them just go in a circle. They might do it for like hours or even days. But if you know anything about this phenomenon, put your comments down below.
This story tells about a nurse who was so excited when she accepted a new job caring for a child. But when she arrived, the house looked empty. Even the front door was unlocked. After calling for the house owner, the nurse was surprised by a body shadow floating to the house's second floor. Out of curiosity, the nurse went straight to a room on the second floor. She was so relieved when she saw a boy who was fast asleep. It was this child she would take care of from that day forward. But the nurse was surprised to find the child shivering in pain. And what's more terrifying, many small eyeballs come out of the boy's eyes. The incident made the nurse so scared that she fell. But she was even more shocked when she met the boy's mother already hovering behind her with the same horrible face. The nurse did not think the night would end full of terror from mother and child. The next day, the nurse woke up from her stupor. But she was still shocked by the discovery of the bodies of the mother and child lying in bed with terrible confidences. It turned out that both of them had died long ago and were even rotting in bed. A newspaper reported if the mother was willing to accompany the child who died of cancer.
Man, that's a crazy story, dude. The things that mom would do for their kid, it's crazy.
Have you heard about La Mano Peluda, or the hairy hand, that haunts Puebla, Mexico? In 1908, a man named Senor Villa, also known as Horta, along with his wife La Gangosa, operated a notorious pawn shop, which served as the epicenter for his malicious activities. Horta was not a man who would be easily forgotten in Puebla, due to his harsh nature. Despite being short and robust with noticeable hairiness, his cold-heartedness stood out the most. He particularly enjoyed seeing those in despair who came to his pawn shop for help. As a result of his cruel behavior, locals often whisper a prayer when near his shop. May God dry out your hand. After Horta's demise, the townspeople's prayers seemingly took a horrifying form. A menacing black hairy hand with rings rose from Horta's grave, causing great alarm within the community. This terrifying entity targeted individuals, scooping their eyes and disappearing back to Horta's grave.
When this thing was speaking to you, what language was it? Your language?
That's the thing, I don't know. I swear, I never, like, now when I remember it, it's English. That time I don't know English. But sometime when I remember, it's in something else. But I just understood. I don't know the language. I can't tell you specifically because I don't want to lie.
It was consciously speaking to you. They are mentioned in the Quran. Waswas al-Khannas. That's what they do. Yuwaswas. He whispers, sends you signals as messages. Do this, do that, do this, do that. It says it in Surah An-Nas, a verse in the Quran. Waswas al-Khannas. That's literally their purpose. That's why there's Iblis and the followers of Iblis, is because their purpose is to make the waswas to people to do bad things. That's the purpose of Lucifer. Like, so in the day of judgment, Lucifer is gonna come out and say, I never forced you guys to do bad things. I just told you and you listened.
Oh, that deep.
Because people that did bad things are gonna go to him. Look at what you did to us. Now we're gonna go to hell. We're about to go to hell right now. I didn't force you. I told you and you listened. Remember when you went, did that thing in the bedroom, and then the story of breaking the living room? That was a harsh waswas, I would say, but that was a waswas. That's not possession. But the thing that came out of the closet and grabbed your foot.
Yeah, bro, it was crazy.
Nah, that's deep. He said the devil said, I didn't make you do it. I only told you to do it and you listened. That's deep.
They literally have a portal in their basement, and supposedly there was 200 demons in their basement, bro. So this was the portal to hell. This was low-key. There was a mom and she had like 3 kids, right? They were normal. They were good kids, right? Until one day, they started changing. They started acting violent, and the mom was like, what the hell is going on, right? And it was crazy because someone took a picture outside their house and they said it was like a 12-foot demon, they said, staring at them through the window. Holy so look, do you see this? That's a real picture. That's a real picture of their house, right? In the beginning of the haunting, the mom and the kids were blessed. It was until they were all in the living room together, she noticed when she looked at one of her kids, the eyes started rolling back and she started going, like she was like moaning. And mom's like, oh, are you good? And while she was taking care of this one kid, her other kid.
I mean, that kind of explains the sudden change in behavior for the kids, but hopefully they're good, because a demon portal in a basement, never good.
The White Lady is one of the most terrifying horror stories in the Philippines. She is often depicted as a ghostly woman in a long white dress with dark hair covering her face. Legends say she haunts dark roads, abandoned buildings, and secluded places. According to the tale, the White Lady is the spirit of a woman who died tragically or suffered a great injustice. Some versions suggest she was a victim of a heinous crime or a jilted lover seeking revenge. Encounters with the White Lady are accompanied by eerie phenomena like flickering lights, cold spots, and a sense of unease. Witnesses describe feeling a chilling presence, hearing hair, raising screams, or even experiencing physical contact. These ghost stories of the White Lady have been passed down through generations, continuing to captivate those fascinated by the supernatural. Regardless of their origins, they have left an indelible mark on Philippine folklore, sending shivers down the spines of those who hear them.
This is the most haunted playground in America. It's located in the middle of Maple Hill Cemetery, which is the biggest cemetery in all of Alabama. It's like over 100 acres. It's been said that when people go there, especially at night, that they'll see ghosts of children walking around, or that they'll see the swings swinging by themselves, or hear little kids talking or arguing or laughing. And there's this urban legend that's based on this area that this playground in the cemetery, it actually used to be a quarry, and that back in the 60s, that there was a serial killer. He was targeting kids around that area and then disposing of their bodies around the quarry. And it was said that he even was hiding out in some of the abandoned mine shafts. And it's been said by people that visit that sometimes they think they even see the ghost of a man up on the ledge above the playground staring at the children. And there's actually a real world story that really ties into all this about this group of teenagers that went there. And this guy said that he saw this ghost of a little girl in a very nice elaborate dress come up to him and be like, "I know who you are." He was weirded out by that, and he didn't think anything of it, but he went back home, and the next morning he told his mom about it, and he described this girl in vivid detail, and it said that his mom burst into tears, walked into another room, brought out a picture, and that it was the same girl from last night. He had actually had a sister that had passed before he was born, and that was that same girl who said, "I know who you are."
Man, if that's a true story, then that's actually crazy. What?
This is the Hello Kitty murder. This is Fan Min Yi, and on March 17th, 1999, she was abducted by 3 men. And during her imprisonment, she was tortured and raped. She was beaten with metal bars and sometimes even strung up and used as a punching bag. The men even rubbed spices onto her wounds and burned the bottom of her feet with candle wax and hot plastic so she couldn't walk. She was forced to eat human feces and urine and was subjected to horrible torture. On April 15th, 1999, Fan succumbed to her wounds. Her captors weren't home, but when they got back, they dismembered her body and boiled her remains. They then sewed her skull inside this Hello Kitty doll, giving the case the name the Hello Kitty murder. She was only 23 years old, and during those months of capture, she literally went through hell. This might be one of the most disturbing cases ever.
Nah, that was sick, bro. Sometimes I be thinking, like, what really motivates people to do something like that? Nah, I hope them motherfuckers find hell, bro. I hope they, like, die in prison, bro, or something.
Take a look at this photo. There is a seriously creepy mystery behind this picture. Captured on a home video camera they had packed in their car in 1999, this footage was captured in Hornet, Missouri. What Jeremiah and Caroline captured in this footage may be the only clue we have as to what happened to the beige sedan. For context, back in 1991 in this area, a beige sedan pulled up to a local diner where an unknown woman walked out and into the restaurant. She was described as deranged and erratic, and she was bleeding. So of course people tried to help her when the unthinkable happened. The woman grabbed a nearby infant and bolted for her car and drove off. Everybody who could hopped in their car and tried to chase this woman down with the infant as she drove into the back road. But then she just seemed to disappear. They never found where that sedan went. Police investigated, they searched all of the woods, they never found her. That is until this footage surfaced in '99, which may be the only clue that the beige sedan is still hiding out in the Devil's Promenade.
Nah, stealing someone's baby is crazy. Like, could you imagine?
Legend or lie number 26, 8 feet tall. A child visiting family in Japan heard something strange coming from the hedges outside where she was playing. It sounded like a man saying, "Po, po, po." She scanned the hedges and stifled a gasp when she spotted an 8-foot tall woman dressed in white with a wide-rimmed hat hiding in the bushes. Horrified, she told her grandparents about the encounter, and they both became inconsolable. They knew it was Hachisuku-sama coming to take her away. They urgently informed her about Hachisuku-sama, an evil spirit who snatches children's souls. They took the child into a room and poured a circle of salt around her. They said, "Do not open the door for any reason," and that they would retrieve her in the morning. Late that night, the sound of her grandfather was at the door, saying that if she was scared, he would wait with her. She breathed a sigh of relief and reached for the knob, but quickly realized something was wrong. Her hand flinched back when she realized it wasn't her grandpa, and the words "Po, po, po" came through. Part 2 is up now.
How do we explain this footage. This really may not seem like much of anything at face value, but the picture is actually a lot more chilling than you might think. It was captured by Eunice Lopez in 2014 near Macon, Georgia. So she would always pass this abandoned home on some of the back roads that she would walk on her way back home from babysitting. It's just a lot safer, there were less cars, it was quiet, it was just fine, but she would always encounter this abandoned home. People in this town knew for a fact that nobody had lived in this house for at least 19 years, so who was this? Maybe this could have been a squatter, this could have been somebody who had just taken up residence in the home illegally. But what's not explained is how an abandoned home of almost 20 years suddenly had a power source to illuminate an entire room and this unknown silhouette of a person just watching out the window.
Yeah, that's a little strange. That's why I say to myself, bro, abandoned buildings and hospitals, those are always weird to me because sometimes they always have power. Like, why is there just power on? There's no one in this building. At least that's what I think.
These are actors that were never the same after a role, part 2. Up first is Sarah Paulson, and she got addicted to smoking cigarettes after filming American Crime Story, The People vs. O.J. Simpson. She was never a chain smoker in real life, but when it came to playing the role as famous attorney Marcia Clark, Paulson went all in. She began chain smoking on set and even said herself she became addicted to cigarettes. Next up, Shelley Duvall was damaged from the filming of The Shining. The scene where she was swinging the bat on the staircase at her husband almost ruined her, and there was lasting effects from it. This scene felt so real to Shelley that she was genuinely upset from it and wasn't acting in this scene at all. And what makes this worse is that she was a perfectionist and they filmed this scene hundreds of times. This affected her brain traumatically and took her years to recover from.
That's messed up with the last one, but sometimes that's just a part of the job. Like, as an actor, I feel like you know what you sign up for, so if anything happens, I guess you just gotta know what you're in for. Just remember that this sunglasses and there's free chains down in the description. Please check those out. Happy Halloween, everyone. Please be safe. Don't get chased by clowns or get hit off the road or anything. Just be safe. This was how my weekend went, my Halloween weekend. Let me know your costumes down in the comments. And if you like content like this, please like and subscribe. Happy Halloween for the 100th time. Please like this video. Please sub. Peace out.